The issue of anterior cruciate ligament injuries in women's football is one that has grown in the public conscience in recent times. As the women's game grows more popular, the awareness surrounding the high frequency of these serious injuries is beginning to gain a greater understanding. A new initiative called Project ACL has been set up by FIFPro in an attempt to solve the mystery of how this type of injury occurs so frequently in the female body. National awareness in the women's ACL injury crisis peaked when Leah Williamson, the Euros winning captain from 2022, sustained an ACL injury which kept her out for 9 months, forcing her to miss the 2023 World Cup. She said it was the toughest time in her career, and Beth Mead, her teammate, also suffered the same injury. I spoke to Stockport County Ladies physio Nicola Pickford, who provided an expert's perspective into the issue.
To be honest, I think ACL injuries are just becoming an epidemic in the women's game. It's the hottest topic in football at the minute, but not for the welcoming reasons. I think, to be honest, the issue is far more complex than even us medic experts and specialists in the field, profess to understand it. But we can paint a bleak picture of the worrying trends, I think, amongst girls. And obviously, the 29-fold increase in women's football of ACL injuries has gone from like 2 decades ago, which shows females are like 4 times to 6 times more at risk. But I think with us in the UK, we're just so far behind with like injury prevention. It's actually embarrassing to say. And I'm not afraid to say that, to be honest, as a professional person. Stockport County Ladies Football Club, we've got there like a club cluster. So I've seen 6 ACL injuries in 1 season out of Stockport County Ladies. With the FIFA Pro one, obviously that research is basically that's being done in the Women's Super League. So I think it's 12 teams that are going to be involved, but that's more on environmental factors. So they're going to be looking at like pitch, boots, recovery time, obviously how many games the Women's Super League are playing. So I think for that to filter down, they're not looking at mechanics or anything like that or strength. But I think with Women's Super League, they've got the funding, so they can adapt what comes out of that research, which is brilliant. Now, for that to filter down into like grassroots, I think it would struggle because grassroots don't have the funding to make them adaptations. So I think it's finding those minimal changes within grassroots that can support young female footballers.
It is not just the professional game that this crisis is impacting though. At grassroots level, many players are also suffering the same injuries as the professionals, and they need to go through the same rehabilitation and surgery process as the pros. Charlotte Johnson from Stockport County had to go through this process last year.
Because you'll see more injuries in women's football in younger age groups compared to men. It can be to do with the pitch surface, footwear that we're using, because our boots aren't designed for women's feet because they're different and the physiology is different between a man and a woman. We aren't being given the proper training, partially down to money that's put into the clubs. There isn't enough of it to get coaches to give us the plyometrics, to give us the directional things, acceleration, deceleration, that are all preventative techniques to stop women from getting ACL injuries. In men's, they do have the money for this, so they'll see more training from younger ages up, but unfortunately being a woman, we don't have that.
There is a long road ahead in the journey to fight the women's ACL battle. However, with the new research in line, the future looks promising.